We'll now call the Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019 regular council meeting to order. Item 2.1, adoption of this evening's agenda, please. Blanchette, Councillor Blanchette, Councillor G. And it will be as amended to add item 9.8 under administrative reports. Any further additions? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. Item 3.1, public comments on items considered by council as part of the approved agenda. Some conditions apply to that. Comments, questions will be limited to 2 minutes each, as depicted by this handy-dandy timer. Comments and questions will only be regarding an item on the current council agenda. Comments, questions put forth must be on topics which are not normally dealt with by village staff as a matter of routine. Questions shall be addressed through the chair, and answers given likewise. Debates with or by individual council members or staff members are not allowed. No commitment shall be made by council in replying to a question. Matters which may require action of council shall be referred to a future meeting of the council. I'll remind everyone that bylaws and temporary use permits that have been considered at a public hearing but have not yet received final approval will not be discussed. Individuals must state their name and area of residence for identification, upon which I will say welcome. Are there any public comments? Sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. This microphone, if you don't mind. Sure.
Your Worship, I'd like to speak to the Gordon Peters. I live in the regional district, just behind us here, but in the regional district.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'd like to speak briefly to the Valemount Village Telecom Pilot Project, which is on the agenda and the next delegation to speak. And I speak on behalf of the Valemount Entertainment Society. Just received this yesterday. I had a chance to review their pilot proposal, and have to say I'm quite concerned, particularly with the Internet Protocol TV provisions of this. As you know, Valemount Entertainment Society has been providing television rebroadcasting to the community at a very low cost since 1978. This proposal calls for a package of up to, well, at least 25 channels to begin with, at a cost of, built into their project proposal, of about $18 a month. With regards to that, we have spent, on behalf of the taxpayers of the regional district, many, many thousands of dollars over the last number of years upgrading our equipment to digital. We have plans to do more of that in this year and in the next year as well, and add additional channels, perhaps up to 20 channels. So we're very concerned about someone coming in without an investment in the community, with no employees, and taking basically the rug out from under us in terms of providing television services to the community, which we already do on a tax levy basis. So I just wanted to point that out briefly, that we are concerned and that we will have further comments as the project progresses. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any additional comments? Hearing none. Motion please to receive the comments. Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette, discussion? All in favor? Carried. Adoption, item 4.1, adoption of the minutes of the previous regular meeting of council for January 8th, 2019. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor G, are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Item 5 and item 5.1, we have a delegation from Guestel MTEL Networks regarding their Valemount Telecom pilot project. Mr. Dempsey.
Okay, my name is Keith Dempsey. I'm from Belmont. I just wanted to say that I actually have no prior experience of Guestel. However, I do think that what they're proposing is a great idea. And so I have agreed to be the local technical contact on this proposed project and to present this PowerPoint on their behalf. Okay, so the PowerPoint is on the screen. I don't know if people at the back, you can see it on that back screen there as well. Okay, so Guestel Mtel is a small telecom-based tech company in Vancouver involved in offering internet connectivity services to travelers, residents, and businesses. So the key services that they're going to include is an ISP service for wired internet, a wireless broadband network service, which I'll explain in a minute, and an IP TV product for live TV with channels to residents. So Valemount is to become a test prototype town for this new concept. So we are a town-wide delivery for high-speed broadband 4G LTE. So if anyone has a mobile phone where they're trying to pick up data and you look for the LTE symbol to see that you've got a data connection, the idea is that we would have that service transmitted locally over the town so that you could pick up your home internet anywhere around town. So that's the idea behind that. So it could augment or replace existing DSL connections that you already have. Guestel believe that they can achieve greater and more reliable speeds than we currently have at the moment. It can also double as a mobile service. And starting with a small zone test to pilot this, and then looking at scaling this up across the whole town. So I don't know if everyone can see that picture. It's a little small maybe at the back there, but you can see on the left there's where it says wireless home use. That's a picture there of someone at home with a wireless router that's connecting to this LTE 4G cell system to give the internet to the building. And then elsewhere in the picture, you can see people walking around Valemount, picking up the 4G system and getting the internet to their devices. That's all the same system. So your home system and roaming around town is all the same internet. So the idea is, in the full project, the idea is to cover the entire town with wireless broadband using a cellular service. And so the idea is you'd have the handheld or desktop routers to pick up the internet. So it would be unlimited internet when you sign up, and the proposed subscriptions were estimated around $69 to $89 a month. And the two speeds expected is 25 meg and 35 megabits. And the home account will include this ability to roam around town as part of the product. So to do this, we would need devices on some building rooftops. So for the pilot, we're looking at 1 to 2 buildings where we replace these rooftop small base stations. And basically they will pick up the internet from that building. We're looking for buildings with fiber connection and use the unused bandwidth that's coming from that fiber and bringing it to the cell system to transmit to a 4G LTE cell system. And at the moment, the current proposed building is the VCTV. They have fiber there at the moment, and I believe it's underutilized, so they would be sharing that. So we have some key points. So Guestel will pay for the setup and relative expenses, and Guestel will not undermine or interfere with any host's building operations, so we shouldn't affect Valemount TV's internet use or anything else in the area. We will not, Guestel believe they will not interfere with any local business or town operations. And the potential benefits to the village. Guestel believe that it should bring better connectivity than the currently available systems. Wi-Fi mobility, being able to go around town, and IPTV services that are currently unavailable. A higher grade of connectivity to the hotels and to the visitors. So something is worth noting, that this would be a high profile, first of its kind to Canadian towns. So it would be positive publicity to Valemount on this kind of system. And the IPTV box service should be able to deliver 200 plus channels and free movies as an online streaming service, very much like the satellite systems that you have now. So there's going to be some phases here. Phase 1 would be to initially set up to cover a few hotels and 20 residents. This would be on a monthly paid subscribers model. And you can see the timescales are pretty soon. There will be an evaluation period of how that went and hopefully gearing up to increase the coverage. We would need more buildings that have fiber optic connections that we're identifying right now to share. And then the final phase, which is estimated for this summer, would be full town coverage. So it's very ambitious. So following the initial trials, Guestel would like to enter into a long-term agreement with the town. So I thank you for listening to this presentation. I don't know if there's any questions or comments.
Thank you very much. Motion to receive the delegation, please. Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette, any questions, comments from council?
So you said that IPTV services are not available here. What exactly is the difference between what we have and what you're offering?
Well, the IPTV would be streamed over the internet, and as far as I know, that service isn't available through the current internet providers we have.
Okay,
So I've been told.
They have to have a computer to stream it then, right?
Yeah, it comes through the internet, so you could have a smart TV as well or something. But I think you have, I don't know exactly how you would view it, probably through a smart TV or an extra box.
Okay, and you said that as we progress in the stages, we would need to install more on the rooftops. How many rooftops will be affected to cover the whole town?
I don't have that information.
Okay.
Do you know if the proponent has approached the school district for access to their properties?
I do not know if they have them.
Because they do have fiber connections.
Certainly Valemount Secondary does, and I think Valemount Elementary does.
Okay.
Sorry, I have another one. Have you contacted VCTV and spoken with them and discussed possibilities? And
I've only been contacted by Guestel and only relatively recently, so
Okay.
I don't have any communication with anyone else.
I'm just wondering if you could mention, a possible partnership. I don't know. This is out of my league, but I'm just wondering if there could be a possible partnership there.
I don't have a lot of experience with Guestel, but I'm sure they'd be
Okay.
only too happy to talk to Valemount TV.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Dempsey. All in favor to, any further comments from council regarding the delegation? Motion, all in favor to receive? Carried. We now have, does anybody wish to pull anything out of the reading file? I will bring out the item 1 of the reading file from the BC Wildfire Service, the Wildfire Preparedness Grant. Just to remind residents that they can now apply for a chance to receive a $500 award from the Fire Smart Canada to help their communities hold fire smart activities or events on Wildfire Community Preparedness Day, May 4th, 2019, ranging from little work bees and wood chipping events and conducting fire smart structure and site hazard assessments. So, and the web address can be found at firesmartcanada.ca and on our website as part of the agenda. Item 9.1, Tourism Valemount Committee revised terms of reference. Their recommendation here that revised terms of reference for Valemount Tourism Committee be received. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor G, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Item 9.2, for the Tourism Valemount webpage, that Symphony Tourism Services be awarded a contract for the Tourism Valemount website update in the amount of $15,000 plus GST. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor G, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Item 9.3, the airport lighting rehabilitation program, that the report regarding the airport lighting rehabilitation program be received, and that letters of appreciation be provided to Northern Development Initiative Trust and BC Air Access. Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette, any discussion?
Big, huge thank yous. This is really great having that PAPI system.
It truly
Yeah,
is.
yeah, the doctors were very, very thrilled.
Oh, awesome. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried. Item 9.4, Housing Committee appointments. Recommendation that Housing Committee terms of reference Schedule A confirming committee members as of January 2019 be approved by Council. Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette, discussion. Councillor Blanchette.
This is a really good bunch of people doing a really hard job, and they do it really well. So I'd like to thank them all for putting their names forward.
All in favor? Carried. Item 9.5, Government of Canada Summer Job Funding Program. There's a recommendation that staff be directed to apply for the Government of Canada Summer Jobs Funding Program. Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette, discussion. All in favor? Carried. Back to the Air Access Grant Program, 9.6 for the BC Air Access Grant Program, that staff be directed to apply to the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure 2019-2020 British Columbia Air Access Program in the amount of $198,423 for the purpose of a new airport fuel kiosk, and that staff be directed to allocate $49,606 from airport reserves in the 2019 budget to the Village of Valemount share of expenses. Councillor Blanchette, Councillor G, any comments, questions?
Moving forward.
Moving forward. All in favor? Carried. Item 9.7, the UBCM Emergency Operations Centers Funding Program. Please that staff be directed to apply to the UBCM Emergency Operations Centers Program for 2019. Councillors Blanchette, Councillor G, discussion. All in
It's a great
favor?
program. Sorry, it's a great program to be involved with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All in favor? Carried. Item 9.8, the 2019 Visitor Service Network Program. This is our new item, late report, apologies. That a letter be provided to Destination BC confirming the Village of Valemount as the lead provider of community visitor services with respect to the 2019 Visitor Services renewal requirements. If you'd like to take a moment, we can just take the, just a motion to
Oh, here it is.
see the recommendation, and we can pause for a minute while you read. Councillors Blanchette, Councillor G. You're all right with it? All in favor? Carried. Nothing under bylaws and policies. Comes to item 11.1, council reports. Councillor G.
I attended the Valemount Days AGM, and I'm happy to report that they were successful in electing a new board for this year, and they're already underway in making plans for this year's event. And I attended the Housing Committee open house, which I was really impressed. Good job, well attended. It was really good to be there. And that's my report.
Councillor Blanchette.
So on the 14th, attended a child and youth mental health, and we had it at the at V Crew, which was really nice to be in the place where we're part of a program that's trying to help the youth. So it was really good to see where they hang out. And it's a no parent space, which I thought was really cool. And a lot of kids have said they just love to go, they love to relax, they know there's no stress, no pressure, no anything, and they just hang out, and it's a really good use of space. So that was interesting. The 15th, in the morning, we had our housing meeting, and then on the night, we had our open house, which, like Councillor G said, was really well attended. I'd like to have, we're going to be wanting to have more input when we get farther down the pike. But it was good to see a huge mix of people come and let us know what they needed, what they were looking for, what maybe their parents will be looking for. And then on the 17th, we had yet another housing meeting, so it was a real housing week. And that's it.
That's all.
That's everything.
On the 15th, I had an opportunity to have a nice sit down with Mr. Bruce Wilkinson as well as MP McLeod and MP Zimmer. A little chat about pipelines and trains. And later that day, joined staff and president of our new community forest limited partnership, as we all had to sit down with the McBride Community Forest Board of Directors. Just a quick discussion on ways to move forward together. It was pretty handy. The 16th, I had committee of the whole budget meetings, a whole bunch of them, for regional district. The following day, I had environment and parks, the cemetery trust, and emergency management planning, subcommittee meetings, followed by regional board in the afternoon. Monday, I was back in PG for the Prince George Regional Advisory Committee. That kind of gives recommendations to the NDIT board. So we had an orientation in the morning, followed by an actual board meeting later that morning. And I can tell you there's some really neat projects coming from all over the north. And I'm just going to comment, out of the 4 regional advisory committees, and NDIT probably provide funding to 2/3 of a geographical BC. So all the way from Caribou, Chilcotin, all the way up into the Yukon border. It's a pretty vast area. And then later that afternoon, I got a parking ticket, and
Which you're paying yourself, right?
which I paid that afternoon, and had an opportunity to have a phone meeting with MLA Bond, and I'm here before you now. Motion please to receive council reports. Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette. Any questions for any of us? Hearing none, all in favor? Carried. No new business, no advancements on the file tracker. Calendar events are there for all to see. Item 15.1 is now a notice to proceed in camera. That council proceed to an in-camera council meeting for consideration of one item per section 90, section 1K of the community charter, discuss matters related to K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages and that in the view of council could reasonably be expected to harm the interest of the municipality as if they were held in public. Motion please. Councillor G, Councillor Blanchette, all in favor? Carried.